Ollie is from a small company called Facebook. Ollie's going to come up here and talk to us about the role of Facebook in building a business. Correct, Ollie? Ollie, welcome. Podium's yours. Welcome. Were you here yesterday?
I wasn't, no, actually.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I'll
Good.
take that. Yeah.
Well, I'll explain later.
Okay. Brilliant, thanks. Thanks everyone for having me up today, and thanks for coming and welcoming me to speak today.
Yeah, thank you.
So
absolutely.
So basically, I'm going to be here to talk to you about how you build a business on Facebook. Essentially, I'm going to be talking about how we help small, medium businesses and also kind of large businesses build success using the Facebook platform. This is me, I'm Ollie. As you can see, I'm a little sleep deprived at the moment. I've got a little baby girl who seems to like waking me up in the middle of the night, probably about 3 times. So if I forget anything today, it's because I'm sleep deprived. I manage our partner management team in SMB, which essentially looks after agencies across Europe, Middle East and Africa. We also look after partnerships in terms of how we can help build partnerships to look after smaller businesses and medium-sized businesses. And that's my role. I'm based here in our European head office, which is based in Dublin, and have a team of about 17 people that work building out partnerships for EMEA. One thing I absolutely love about my role is the fact that I get to work with so many different types of businesses. And those businesses will be businesses such as like Grant's Whiskey here, who was a business that was predominantly using TV to try and reach as many people as possible, and actually started using Facebook through one of our agency partnerships and testing out our video ads unit. And when they started testing out video ads, they actually saw that they had a really unique message they were able to pass out and have a much wider reach than they were getting with TV. So they shifted towards that. Another thing about working in the team I work in, which I love, is working with businesses where I work with people that really invest in kind of opening out and taking a chance and actually building out their own businesses. And that can be a wide range from a company like Grant's Whiskey down to the company like a little local cafe that I go to pretty much every other day to get lunch, and actually has the sandwich of the day that they post up on Facebook. And that I get my message about that. I understand what the sandwich of the day is, and it creates a conversation in the office. So I just wanted to show you this picture, because I think this pictures paint 1,000 words, and I think this picture really does. This was the Pope inauguration in 2005. If you forward that 8 years on to the Pope inauguration in 2013, the difference is unbelievable. You can see there the number of mobile phones, but the number of iPads, and we really are in a world that has completely shifted to mobile now. Facebook think ourselves as a mobile-first company, and it's very important for us. When I think about it, my life has changed in that time as well. I used to get the tube. I'm from London originally. I used to get the tube to work. I used to pick up the Metro, which is like a free newspaper in London for those people who aren't from the UK. I used to read that every day, and that was where I'd get my news on the way to work. Nowadays, I don't use that at all. I actually use this, which is my mobile phone. It's pretty much the thing I use all the time for my own news. I open up Facebook and I flick through my news feed. And that's where I'm getting information about the people that I care about, but also about the things I care about. I'm an avid Watford fan. There's probably not many of you there. For those of you that don't know football, we're top of the Championship. I'm going this weekend, and we have a chance of being a Premiership team next year. So it's very exciting times for me. And I'm getting all my information about Watford Football Club in my newsfeed from Facebook. But it's not just about information I'm getting from, say, sports clubs or news articles. It's also I'm getting information from brands and businesses in there. It's a place where you can reach people when they're engaged and they're thinking about stuff. And that's where I get all my information from. So realistically, for business, this is where you need to be. You need to be thinking about mobile, because customers are going to be mobile. I know you guys would work with a lot of other companies and help support them. This is essentially where you should be advising people to be. People are on mobile now. It's where they get information. It's where they receive information all the time. I know that my day, obviously I check my newsfeed, but my day in the evening, I'm watching TV, but at the same time, I'm on my iPhone or my iPad on Facebook or other places, and I'm reading about information. So it's really important to make sure that you think about business as a mobile as a mobile business on mobile. So the great thing about Facebook is that it gives you an instant mobile strategy. Our newsfeed is consistent on desktop as it is on mobile. It's a place where you can reach new customers or re-engage with your existing customers actually on mobile. An example of that would be the fact that, in a nutshell, we can help businesses retain their existing customers and acquire new customers. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail about how you can do that. Sorry, the clicker doesn't seem... Okay, so from an example, this UK, I'm just taking the UK market. For example, 27 million people on Facebook every day in the UK. People check their news feeds, not just me, but all around the UK. People check their news feeds about, on average, 14 times a day. So people are constantly checking their mobile news feeds. Unbelievable.
Don't you think that's staggering?
I do, yeah. I think I massively do. And I've been in Facebook for a long time. I've been there for about 4 years. And I've seen us grow from having a mobile, from starting off with our first mobile app to actually, you know, the fact that now 24 million people are on mobile in the UK every day. So when you think about that, the majority of our users are on mobile every single day. And they check the newsfeed 14
times. Wow.
So for you, if you're talking about an advertising place or where you can actually reach new customers or existing customers, your customers will be on mobile and they will be on Facebook. And I think the difference is, and the real difference is, that you know with Facebook you're reaching real people. You're reaching people who actually are themselves. They're authentic selves on Facebook. For example, if you want to target a 26-year-old female who's engaged, you can actually target them. If you wanted to reach a male who's interested in cycling and triathlons, you can reach them. As a recent new father, you could reach me on Facebook. And you know that you would actually be serving your ad to me because I'm a real person and my real identity is actually on Facebook.
So, Ollie, you say Facebook has real people. Are you suggesting there are non-real people out there that you get through other places?
What I'm suggesting is that you know you're reaching...
I'm just
It's a great question. And what I'm suggesting is that you know you're reaching real people. So, for example, if you target a normal website, you're actually targeting a cookie.
Yeah.
You don't know that it's someone. You're actually putting... you don't know who the person is that you're actually reaching. Whereas on Facebook, you do know you're reaching this person if you do that targeting option.
Yep.
And also, that works cross-device as well. So if you're trying to reach someone on desktop and mobile, you know you're reaching the right person, the same person if they're on Facebook.
In either environment?
Yeah, in either environment.
Across that. Yeah.
I share a laptop at home with my wife, but and we have very different likes and interests, but if I'm logged on Facebook on that laptop, I'm going to get served the same ads as I would on my mobile, and she would get served a different ad when she's logged on Facebook. So people often share computers, so you know you're actually reaching the real person with Facebook. I wanted to run you through kind of how Facebook works with businesses and the end-to-end solution. And it really does start with creating a page. So when we think of creating a page, I wanted to highlight a business that actually has grown very successfully on Facebook. And I'll talk a little bit more about them later. But what I wanted to highlight here is this is a business that do snowboarding. They do snowboarding helmets. So what actually happened was the CEO of this company was in a snowboarding accident in the Rockies about 8 years ago. And from that accident, he realized that the actual helmet design wasn't the best design, and he built and designed and patented his own helmet. As you can see there, this helmet has its goggles attached to it, and it's meant to be the safest helmet. So he did this. This is exactly the product you see when you see the profile picture on the page. You see here, it's a really nice, engaging cover photo that's actually advertising all their products. You know exactly what this page is about. They've gone in and they've filled all the details. When you take this further, they've actually gone on to create engaging content that actually reaches their target audience. It's not always about selling product. It's actually about what does their audience want to engage with. How are they going to build an affinity with their audience, and how are they going to build an actual relationship with their audience? And this is what they've done here. So you can see here, the videos, it's going to be cool snowboarding type videos. They're going to post really nice engaging photography that they know will capture the eye of their customers and their target customers. And this is the content that they have on their page. Then you've created the content, you've got a great page, you've created content, then how do you kind of promote that? How do you kind of amplify that reach and reach more people? And that's kind of where the advertising side of Facebook steps in. As I said before, it's about putting your product at the center of the users and real people's experience. And as I mentioned, people check their newsfeed 14 times a day. But the great thing is, with Facebook advertising it's in-stream and native, which really means that it's part of the experience. It doesn't interrupt your experience. It's not a big banner ad that takes over the page that interrupts people. It's not interrupting your programming. It's actually part of your experience as you skim through the newsfeed. And it's relevant for you if you do the right targeting for your target audience. It's also designed for action. So I'll show you in a minute about some call to action buttons we have on our ads. And it's optimized towards conversion. So it's going to target towards what's important towards your business to make sure that you're getting the conversions. So this is just an example of a link ad. This is a type of ad unit that we use to drive people towards a website if they want to purchase a product or, say, book a flight. For example here, a holiday booking company. You see here it has the Book Now button, the call to action button that drives people directly towards actually the advertising product. Another really cool product we've recently launched is our multi-product ad, where you can put a range of your products up and people can actually slide through and see the products. And say you want to buy wooden serving utensils. You know, this is something that you're interested in, you've seen this picture, you click on the photo and you get taken directly to the actual purchase page to buy the product directly on your mobile. This is where you're really targeting the advertising and making sure that you're minimizing the number of clicks towards the actual purchase page. So we've talked about the actual advertising product, but targeting really is key. That is the real power of Facebook. As I mentioned before, it's about how you actually reach real people. And Facebook, I wanted to touch on 3 different targeting options we have. One is our core targeting. Now that's what I talked about briefly before, which is reaching people via their kind of likes and interests, their demographics, and the types of things that they may take action on. Another really cool kind of targeting product that we have is something called custom audiences. Has anyone heard of custom audiences before in the room? No? Okay, 1 or 2 people. So what custom audiences does is it actually allows you to take your customer base. So say you've got a customer base of email addresses and you actually want to try and reach those people on Facebook. Yep. You upload that into the kind of Power Editor or Ads Manager and you can actually create a custom audience and create an audience that you can target on Facebook from those email addresses. So Facebook will find those people and you will be able to target a message in someone's newsfeed, in their mobile newsfeed, directly to them that you know are existing customers. So this has been a great product for us. We've seen really huge growth here. Another point here is actually that from that audience you can create something called lookalike audiences. And lookalike audience is something where we actually look at the data of the customers you have and then find very similar people to those on Facebook. And you'll be able to reach customers that are very similar to your existing customers. So it's about finding new customers that you know will purchase or become a user of your service. So this is really powerful and this has been really successful for us. And finally, I think the most important thing with any kind of campaign, whether it's online, offline, is how you measure that. Because if people are spending your money and you're putting budget in, you actually want to make sure that you're actually getting the return on investment that means that you're seeing success. And one of those ways is through using our conversion tracking. It's very simple. You create a tracking pixel. Now, this is just a simple line of code that you create in the Ads Manager, or you can get kind of your developers to do that. You then drop that tracking pixel into the website on, say, your post-conversion page, or it could be on your kind of the landing page if you just want to see the number of people that land on the page. And then you create ads with that conversion pixel. That allows you to track and view reporting on the ROI. So it allows you to see the number of purchases you've made and the number of actions, or say you're trying to do app installs. It allows you to see all of that data, and you can actually measure that back to that specific ad unit. The other great thing is, and I mentioned this earlier, is that it allows you to actually optimize your spend. So it allows you to say, do you know what? I'm going to target, and I want to target people that are similar to convert on this, and you can use something we call optimized bidding, which allows you to actually reach the right people that are likely to convert. And our system will optimize towards those conversions rather than a click-based model. So, to leave you with, I wanted to leave you with 3 examples of companies that do this successfully and have been very successful with us. I mentioned Rorick earlier. Now, Rorick was a very successful product, but the CEO actually was struggling to get the company off the ground. And one of the things was the company was actually, like many new businesses, was actually very close to actually not being a success. So he hired a new CEO. And that CEO, in the first week, built ads on Facebook. They sold more helmets that first weekend after advertising on Facebook than they'd sold the previous 6 months. Since then, they've seen a 3x year-on-year in growth, and they attribute 99% of that growth to Facebook. And they're great for us. They come and talk at events for us, and very exciting company for us to work with. Another great company, Hawkers. Now, this is kind of like a really cool sunglasses company. They essentially sell sunglasses that are affordable but really stylish in design. This company started with 4 people. And within 12 months, they'd actually grown the company to over 25 people. Now they're larger than 30 people. They advertise on Facebook, and they saw a 10x return on their investment on Facebook. They attribute a lot of their success to Facebook, and again, they often come and talk about to other people about the success of their company. We have a great relationship with them, and they've built up just through working with our team on building out how to actually advertise successfully on Facebook. And finally, another company which is a little closer to heart because I'm getting to this stage in my life, but essentially there's a really cool Irish company actually, Yvolution, and their headquarters are based here. They have an office in America as well. They use Facebook ads. They actually became the #1 selling toy in Toys R Us last year in the UK and Ireland. And they used Facebook. 10% of their US sales is actually from Facebook. They actually used 10% of their US sales on Facebook. They've seen huge success, and they're continuing to invest. And it's not just that. Those are just 3 examples I wanted to bring up and leave you with as kind of examples for you. But Facebook earlier announced this year that we have over 2 million businesses who advertise on Facebook on a daily, who advertise on Facebook with us. And that number is consistently growing. And that's because people, businesses, small businesses see success on Facebook, and they know that it's where they should be putting their budgets because they know that they'll get a return on investment, and they can start with as little as €1, and they can start seeing its success. So that's where I wanted to leave you and open up to see if you had any questions.
Yes. So I have, you want to grab a seat, Ollie?
Yeah, sure.
We'll do a little Q&A.
Fine.
I'm sure there are loads of questions out there. Let me kick it off and ask you about sort of your reseller strategy and what the economics are and how that all plays out. These people are probably very familiar with the Google approach, since they've been doing that for a while. Can you share with us sort of the Facebook model and approach?
So at the moment, Facebook, we kind of, at the moment, are starting to build out kind of a partnership program, we call it, where we're looking at partnerships. A lot of our partnerships would be based on technology. So I'm not sure if many of people are aware of, like, we had a PMD program where we worked with technology partners that would build onto our API, onto our ads API, and actually kind of offer services around that. We are exploring kind of other partnerships at the moment, but we wouldn't necessarily have a specific reseller program at the moment for EMEA.
So you don't have a reseller program?
Not at the moment for EMEA.
So what are your 17 people doing?
So my 17 people are working on partnerships. They're looking at opportunities where they would partnership with specific companies, but they're also looking at working with partnerships we have with, say, agencies. A lot of our partnerships would be with agencies that we can help work with, that would scale the market and help reach as many advertisers as we can and provide the best service we can for those advertisers.
And then what's the sort of revenue model in that? Is that can you sort of share that a little bit?
In terms of revenue, we don't really have a kind of model that would work with a kind of markup or a discount model or anything like that. We kind of believe that the value is that agencies that we work with will see the value in the success of our products, and because they're seeing that success for their clients, that's where they'll invest their budgets.
Okay. I'm sure we have questions out in the audience. I know I saw one in the left over there. There's a mic coming.
Thank you very much. Hello, Jacob Riba. Can I just ask you about the custom audiences? Because some time ago we were thinking about using it.
Yeah.
I know that there were some people who were against this because obviously your customer list or the list of your customers is one of the most precious things you have in a company. So what's your, let's say, data protection strategy, or how do you let's say, protect your business's data if I upload there a list of my clients? Is it really used just for the campaign, or do you use it to populate the demographics of the client, for example, for use of that particular company?
So when you upload an audience on, we would never capture like the email address or anything like that. It hashes the data locally, and then we would search based on our kind of the hash. I'm not technical, so bear with me. I wouldn't be able to give you a technical example. But we would then find those people. We would use that to find your audience that you would then be able to reach. And potentially we would use if you wanted to do a lookalike audience, we would look at the likes and interests and the similarities of your customers to help you personally find new customers similar to that.
What kind of categories are you seeing sort of take up Facebook advertising? You know, we talked earlier about those are home services.
Yeah.
What you showed are pretty retail oriented. Give us, describe the ones that you think are best to work with Facebook and be in that environment.
To be honest, I think we're in a unique position now where we've developed our product so well that we're actually in a place now where we're able to offer such a wide range of businesses really good option. Like, for example, we've just tested in the US and we're rolling out a kind of local kind of awareness product which will really help local businesses.
Describe what that is.
So
Richard.
that would be an option where you'd be able to essentially reach people based in your proximity where you're based at the moment. So if your shop is based in a certain local area, you would be able to kind of make sure that you only reach and serve ads towards those people within that area.
And how granular can you make that area? I mean, is it, you know, is it 5 miles around where I want to do work? Is it, you know, what's the geo?
It's based
sizing
on certain kind of sizings in area. I'm not sure if we've actually defined the exact how
And how
narrow
small
we're
it can
going to go, but it
Mm-hmm.
would be around about that type of space at the moment, yeah.
Okay. There've got to be other questions out there. Come on.
I have one. I want to piggyback off your question a little bit because you didn't answer it. Okay,
Yeah.
so Neil asked.
Thank you for following up.
Okay,
Yes,
so
Kimberly.
he asked what kind of categories are you seeing? Because as you said, I think retail, I think restaurants, and are you? I guess I'll ask directly, are you missing that whole professional area, and is LinkedIn moving in on your space with target advertising in areas that are more professionals like lawyers or services or accountants or things like that?
I wouldn't say, to be honest, I wouldn't know what LinkedIn's strategy is around kind of that business area, but I would say what I've seen is I've seen business to business being successful on Facebook in terms of the fact that you can reach people based on their profession. You can reach people based on their education level, and it's the fact that you have that pure reach as well. You have the opportunity to reach such a wide range of people within those specific professions. So, for example, I have my job title on Facebook. I also have the company I work for. So you can target those people as well on Facebook.
Can you give an example of business to business? Because I can't think of anything I've ever seen on my Facebook page with business to business.
I haven't actually got an example off the top of my head, but I definitely work with businesses that have done that before. Whether that's recruitment companies, I've seen use those to actually find employees, even as high as kind of executive level employees when they know that they're targeting, say, people that have a director level on their kind of, in their job profile on Facebook.
There's some other questions. While we get the mics out there, I've always been curious if my news feed is the same from device to device. Because it sure seems different. So if I'm on my iPad, I feel like my newsfeed is different than my phone or my laptop.
Yeah, so your newsfeed should be consistent across.
Yeah?
So it's designed that it's a same experience. So basically, like for example...
So it's my imagination?
I don't know, I can't speak for that, but what I would say is that I see for, when I'm thinking about kind of, when we're talking to advertisers, we know that, for example, if you see an ad on your desktop newsfeed, You may see the same ad on your mobile newsfeed, but you won't be charged for that impression because it's an impression you've already seen.
I see.
So it is designed to be
So that's
consistent.
from the advertiser side,
So it is
yeah.
designed to be consistent.
Question?
The
right
only
here.
thing I would say is some people will target you just on mobile.
Okay.
So you may see, like, and that's to enhance our targeting option.
Yeah.
So for example, we wouldn't serve a mobile app install ad on a desktop newsfeed
Right.
because you wouldn't be able to have a call to action. It would be a wasted impression.
Yep, okay. There's a question over here.
For me, thanks. I was interested in your lookalike audience and the custom audience.
Yeah.
When you've chosen your audience, what then happens? Is it data that you then take offline and choose a way to contact these people, or is it done through Facebook?
So it's done through Facebook. So say you upload your custom audience of email addresses. So just say email addresses, I'm not sure. It could be mobile phone numbers. But you upload that, and then you have this audience. You can then serve ads just to that audience. So essentially you can, yeah, so it's through Facebook. You can target those audiences just on the Facebook platform. You don't receive information. For us, data protection is really important, so we would never share information about our users externally, but what we would do is you'd be able to reach those people on Facebook. Yeah.
Yes. Can you maybe speak a little bit about the economics? Like, how much would that cost to, to do those ads and to push this? What are the main prices?
Sure.
What, your question is, what are the main costs? Or what are
how
the
much
prices?
will it cost to a small and medium business to participate to some services? What are the main economics for that?
Yeah, I can talk to you about that. A lot of businesses start small, and I'd actually recommend that you start small. The company you saw there, Hawkers, actually started with a budget of less than 50 euros a day. Or you know, companies often start very small on Facebook. The great thing about Facebook is you can actually bid, and it's an auction-based model, so you can actually bid, you know, and put your budget as a max you want. You could start with $1 a day, and you could start seeing how you go from there.
So it's auction-based based on volume of views?
It's auction-based based on if you're targeting the same audience as other people, it's going to be an auction-based model. So it's going to be based on you should bid your true value. We always say to people you should bid your true value. So if you're trying to find, say, a conversion and you know your CPA is X, you should make sure you bid to control that and you don't pay over that.
So you're getting audience, you're bidding for audience, not clicks.
You're essentially bidding for reach, or there's three different types of bidding on Facebook. You can bid for reach, where it's like CPM, so that would be like your cost per 1,000 impressions. Essentially, you could do CPC, but what we often recommend businesses to do is to bid our model we call OCPM, which is optimized cost per 1,000 impression, and that's towards conversions.
So that's really targeted stuff.
Yeah, so that's like if you create a conversion pixel or you're running mobile app install ads, we would recommend that you use that, and you can actually bid towards, you can actually do a bidding method towards the cost per app install you have.
And the cost per conversion, or whatever you want to call it, I presume goes up as the targeting becomes more granular, or no?
It doesn't necessarily. It depends on the competition of the target, and it's also depending on other things. So, for example, around different seasonality
Holiday,
as well,
yeah,
it affects that. Yeah.
Okay. Some more questions out there? I know there were a couple hands. Come on. I'm losing my voice. Here's one up front. A short question.
Yes. What kind of partnerships are you looking for? Because you're manager of partnerships, right?
Yeah.
So what kind of partnerships are you
So-
either managing or looking for?
Yeah, so essentially at the moment we generally work a lot with agencies, but what we look for is, as a business, is we are looking to see how we can help reach. You've seen there we've got 2 million advertisers, so we're trying to see how we can help get support with those as many advertisers.
And hello. What are, when you say agencies, you pay them a fee, or it's their problem?
So essentially,
you collect and that's it.
Yeah. So the value we would give is a partner manager would work with an agency and actually provide service, support, advice to make sure that their clients are getting the best service and support they can have, and the agency would then run the campaigns a lot of the time for the clients. And
what do you do for the agency?
give them service, support, advice.
Market development funds?
We don't give funds. Yeah.
So it seems to me that let's go back 5 or 7 years. You know, merchants realized that they had to be found on Google because they themselves were searching through Google to find other things. And, you know, merchants sort of use their own behavior as a way to figure out what their customers might be doing. Do you have that same phenomena within Facebook, or is that part of the evangelistic sort of need you guys have to do, that merchants are starting to realize that they need to be in Facebook? So where is that, where are they on that sort of adoption, understanding curve?
I think you can see from the numbers in terms of the number of advertisers we have, that's businesses that advertise on Facebook. I think
that's a pretty small number, right?
I think 2 million is a fairly big number for us at the moment. Like, but what we're seeing is we're seeing that growth number go up and up. And I think what we see is that it's those success stories where people share themselves. A lot of the time you'll hear people saying, do you know what, I started advertising because I spoke to my friend who runs their own business and they started seeing really good success themselves. I've seen definitely a shift, especially as we've gone to mobile, in terms of people realizing that
they need to be
do
there.
you know what, people realize they don't want to waste budgets anymore. They want to make sure that their marketing budget goes to the target audience they want to reach, and they want to know they've reached them. And they want to know that they want to reach them on mobile. So for me, that's where I think people are starting to realize that that's why they should use Facebook.
So there's a tremendous audience on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Where does this start to play into that, or is it not figured out yet? Can you buy Instagram audience today?
In the UK, you can at the moment. You can buy on an IO basis where it's a fixed price. The thing with anything on Facebook is our user experience. We want to just make sure users have the best experience they can. So with anything like this, with Instagram or anything like that, we'll actually make sure that we enhance the user experience through advertising. So sometimes it may not be that we're going to launch ads straight away for everyone. It may be that it takes time to make sure that we've got the product right before we roll everything out.
Okay. All right. I'm the only one asking questions. Thank you, Neg.
So I've got a two-part question. One is, what trends are you seeing demographically with the user of Facebook? Is it skewing older? And secondly, has there been any degradation of usage once you started inserting ads into the newsfeed?
Okay, so first question. What I think we've, to be honest, I don't actually know exactly on the stats whether we've looked into that. And I don't know around advertising whether that, but what I will say is I've seen the wide range of audience get bigger, and I know that our numbers are growing. Like we've, like over 1.5 billion users now, and I know that our numbers keep on growing, and I think it's because our audience demographic is getting bigger and bigger as well. It's not just new companies, it's aging. For example, in my own life, I know that my granddad, who's 93, is on Facebook. And he actually only goes on Facebook on his mobile phone, he doesn't own a laptop. So for me, we're starting to see the audience grow.
I'm curious just to do a quick non-scientific survey. How many people go to their Facebook feed 14 times a day in this room? Okay, losers? No, I'm just kidding.
I'd say winners, guys, winners.
That's a lot. I found that number very high, and yet you all have proven that even in this room there are a lot of people who do that. I know younger people do much more of it. So.
Yeah, I would debate that because my kids started out on Facebook and they've moved off Facebook to Instagram and Snapchat.
Yeah.
And so that's why I asked the question, because I think it's my assessment is it's turning into an older medium.
I think Facebook has acknowledged that publicly, actually.
Yeah.
I actually
you're not speaking for Facebook. Don't worry.
Yeah, I don't actually know that, so
we're not putting words in your mouth, Ollie. I promise.
I can follow up. I don't know that, so yeah.
No, it's yeah.
All right. Thanks, Ollie, for being here. Fantastic.
Cheers. Thanks
really
very much.
appreciate it. Great to have you up.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks for taking the tough questions.